This is another axis of our activities. We will develop a concrete cooperation with your European organization dealing with tourism. So this means that since tomorrow we will be even closer with Giovanni, and we are expected to develop joint lobbying activities or to develop a project to work on statistical data, etc., etc. And as I said this morning, this is just an example of what we are planning to do for the future. So, thanks a lot for this introduction, and now I give the floor to Giovanni, who will introduce the discussion about sustainability on tourism. So, Giovanni, you have the floor. Maybe you want this microphone.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Okay. Well, this is the time for lunch, but I try so to be quick and to give you some information about these activities. I have the note. Thanks for the invitation at CRPM. We worked a lot for Sicily region with producing a lot of documents, and it's okay, producing a lot of documents, and. But now, I stay there. Okay. I can see from there. Okay, but if I stay here, there is a question. Oh, well, so the question today, we study islands, we monitoring, we count with numbers, try to monitoring to give to you the better politics, or to the politician the better politics. And concrete politics, because this isolation, sometimes we have the same problem. We always think about the same question to solve, and we don't find solution. Today, we start to work with some university and partners the project of over-tourism. Sometimes, if I ask you, who of you need more tourism? I mean, are you satisfied about the tourism level you have? Or you want more and more? Satisfied. A boredom. Okay. Well, a lot of islands ask for more tourism because it's the only economy. So this project is coming, starting with University of Venice. You know Venice. Have you been there? It's very crowded of people. Sometimes you cannot walk. This happens in Dubrovnik. This happens in some islands, especially in high season. So the question is how we can reduce the over-tourism problem questions in islands in future. You can say today, yes, but I mean we need tourism. We didn't think about over. Well, but according with the trends and to increase of tourism, you know what's happened? In the past, that the tourists you attract now, they come in the same period. They come in the same high season. So we analyzed more than 20 islands, and they said more tourism we have in the future will be in the same season you have. So this will cause in the next 5 years over-tourism destinations. Some islands now are going to plan a tourism reduction. Because the locals said, we don't want tourism anymore. We would like to leave. We have enough money. We don't have tourism. Also in low season. Some islands, they don't want tourism in low season because they get all the money in high season. So it's enough. The balance is done. They would like to have, but practical way is very difficult. So how manage this question? Okay, with this project, you can join the project. This is the news of today. The Interreg projects called Alter Eco. Okay, if you want to know more about that, and because we trying to balance and how to manage tourism or over tourism in the future. Okay, how to? So tools, projects, software. We elaborate for you. Okay, so very concrete, not theoretical, okay? So it's question of planning, first of all. So planning, it means how many tourists I can have in 5 years' time, how many beds I have to have in high season, low season. So planning, and for islands, it's very difficult to plan. I'm speaking about Mediterranean islands, of course. It's very difficult to plan in 5 years' time. It's very difficult. Anyway, mobility and sustainability. So this is reduce concentration, okay? To reduce, to better manage. This is very better managed. So I go through, these are, I'm going to really give you only the final consideration to you. We start with pilot activities. So we work with 5 destinations, islands destinations, asking them what to do for them, if they have the perception that will happen in the future. Okay? And we collected a lot of results that we will present. And in terms of politics, how can I manage cruise tourism, for example, in advance? How many numbers is possible to have in the next 5 years? Look, I mean, the shipyards have already requests for shipbuilding for the next 10 years. So we know exactly in 10 years' time what's happened in the future in the destination, in cruise ship, in the port of call. So we can plan right now in the next 10 years. So these are our partners. Palermo University and also Venice University and others, Malaga City, Genoa, they would like to be the first to experiment this model. And what we did, it's just to, if we can click in the TCC model, what we did is just, that's what I would like to show you. This is an application, if we più grande. No, we don't have Wi-Fi access. Oh. Okay, just to calculate the carrying capacity. This model is based, it's based, you insert all the numbers, expenditures, visitors, daily excursions, for example, visitors from cruise lines, and you put together, and you can put this model, and finally you have a lot of results useful to plan, okay, in the future. So we can put, just a second, in, for example, in Venice, left side, Venezia, sorry. In Venice, okay, just you have this calculation. Imagine, for example, Airbnb impact, or a lot of that, okay, hotels. Okay, or cruise lines. Maybe we count cruise lines, but we don't know the impact on the daily visitors on the city. And this is what's happened and in the future of islands. So this software and the way we manage data in the future, in trends, in what will happen in the future, will be for us a very good way to better manage tourism and to increase also the revenue of tourism. So in the islands, so I finish, in the islands, we are fragile territories. We cannot, we cannot plan. Unplanned tourism will give us a lot of negative consequences that maybe we don't want to see now. We don't want to have a look now. We said, okay, but in the future, it's a future questions. But in islands, we have to anticipate. That's why we ask with the CRPM, we have this agreement to set, please support us to estimate trends and to do a good management plan for tourism in the next years and help us to create this economy that are in the line we would like to develop our island. If we don't do this in the future, like some islands also in Sicily, we are going to experiment, the populations that will tell us, please stop, we don't want tourism anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Giovanni, for this very exhaustive and quick presentation. You said planning is a key issue. Indeed it is, and your tool is quite interesting for our members. So you said that this is something free for testing. So you are more than welcome to contact Giovanni and try to test the reality in your islands. Okay, so we move to the other part of the Europe, to Baltic Sea. So Nina, you have the floor. Please share with us your experience, your very interesting experience, innovative also. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the kind invitation to come here to Corfu. I have never been here. It's a wonderful place and much warmer than at home. I'm Nina SÖDERLUND. I am from Åbo Akademi University, which is the only Swedish-speaking university outside Sweden in the world. I'm chair of the Archipelago Institute at Åbo Akademi, and I'm a member of the National Archipelago Committee under the government of Finland. I'm speaking Swedish. 6% of people in Finland are speaking Swedish as their mother language. It's called Moomin Swedish because the Moomin characters creator Tove Jansson also was part of this minority. It's the same Swedish than in Sweden, but we pronounce things different. I'm living on a very small island, Ramsö, called outside Turku. We are 12 inhabitants, and we have very fun together. It's good. It's good to have fun when you are only 12. Something about Finland. In recent years, tourism in Finland has grown more strongly and become more international than other sectors. It's a new thing, you know, Lapland, of course, but now it is increasing other places also. The number of international travelers has doubled since the year 2000. The theme for the Finnish tourism roadmap is achieving more together, and its strategic focus areas are, among others, making the Finnish archipelago internationally known, as known as Lapland. The goal is for Finland to be the #1 tourist destination in Northern Europe 2025. So now you know that. I didn't know that until I went here, but it's after 6 years. Let's see. We will have a new government in Finland after the elections in April, and they decide how to do with these things. Will archipelago play a role in the future? And as we heard before, Finland is EU chair later this year. This project, St. Olav Waterway, is about creating a new pilgrim route to Trondheim. There are over 5,000 kilometers St. Olav routes in Norway, in Sweden, Denmark, even Iceland, but they have never been from Finland and Åland Island, so we have made a new part of this. We started 2016, and in May we have the big opening. We are really talking about sustainable tourism because wandering is sustainable. We want people to come whenever they want, but not in July. I heard for a while ago it's maybe impossible to to say to people you can come when you want, but not in July, but we try. This is a real off-season project. So we are very glad to hear that the first pilgrim from abroad will come within 2 weeks to Finland. He is from Portugal, and he will wander from Turku to Trondheim starting in April. Between Turku in Finland and Stockholm in Sweden, there are about 50,000 islands. 50,000 islands. And thousands, many hundreds of them are inhabited. Tourism is in this unique archipelago is growing, of course, but there are no mass tourism yet, and will not be. If I can decide, I can't, of course. You know that Santiago de Compostela, there are 300,000 pilgrims a year coming there, so we are a bit afraid but our focus is to have about 5,000 travelers a year on this new pilgrim route. We don't know if 5,000 is realistic, but it's enough for us. Let's see what will happen after 10 years or 20 years, but maybe tourism planning should be something for us also. The archipelago near Turku, there is an archipelago national park and the archipelago sea biosphere reserve status given by UNESCO. So it's a very fine place for everyone. The Mediterranean Sea is almost 5,000 meters deep. The Baltic Sea is on average 55 meters deep, and the archipelago sea is even lower than that. So it's easy to guess that there are many environmental problems. The biggest problem is the eutrophication. So we really need to have sustainable tourism now and in the future. Some words about this pilgrimage route. It takes you from Turku through the Finnish archipelago to the Åland Island archipelago and then to Grisslehamn in Sweden and further to the north, combining with existing Olav routes to Trondheim in Norway. The whole distance is 1,200 kilometers. It takes about 2 months to go from Turku to Trondheim. But this man from Portugal is the first one to do that, so let's see if 2 months is okay. Parts of the route can be traveled by kayak, sailing, riding or biking, in addition to walking. The route passes through historical interesting areas and the beautiful archipelago. In addition to the main route, there is the possibility to travel even more slowly by exploring some of the smaller islands, even smaller islands in the outer archipelago, as the people did during the Middle Age on their way across the Baltic Sea. The word pilgrim means a person traveling to a holy place, but in modern days people travel for very different reasons: to see quietness, an active lifestyle, nature experience or historic stories. We are 8 partners in project, 3 from Finland, 2 from Åland Islands and 3 from Sweden. Last year the route was certified as an official route of St. Olav Ways and also a part of cultural route of the European Council. It's very important. Maybe I have no time to tell you so much about Olav. I can in 1 minute take 1,000 years, if it's okay. The St. Olav Waterway is dedicated to King Olav of Norway, Olav the Holy. And already 1,000 years ago, people also from Finland went on pilgrimage to visit St. Olav's grave in Trondheim. This continued during almost 500 years. There are several St. Olav churches, including the medieval one in Nagu in Finland, the place where I am coming from the 15th century, and in Jumala, Åland Islands from the 13th century, and a lot of other medieval churches along the route. Something about the recommendations. First, I will say that without the Central Baltic program, we shouldn't have any route today. So we are very grateful to the Central Baltic program. And on the islands, we need different kinds of financial instruments to do things like that. We have everyman's rights in the Nordic countries, as you maybe know. Everyone in the Nordic countries can roam wherever they want by foot or by cycle in the nature, not too near private houses, of course, and property, but comes with the responsibility to show respect and consideration to the environment. You must be careful during nesting periods of birds from April to June, but we are very proud of everyman's rights in the Nordic countries, and we couldn't live without them. Recommendation for you. The most important thing I will say to you when you create routes like this or something else is to involve the locals, the entrepreneurs and media during the whole project. It is the best guarantee for sustainable tourism a sort of social control. You have to discuss many times with all parts what sustainability tourism means in real life. Without that communication, you will never succeed. I know. This winter, some locals in the archipelago and entrepreneurs started a campaign, No Plastic Waste in the Archipelago. Also, food waste is a big theme now. So I'm very glad that the local people and the entrepreneurs have started these campaigns. And they must be a part of the process. So thank you for listening and welcome to St. Tulo Waterway. You can be number 2 after the Portuguese have come. But if you don't want to walk, you can come to the archipelago and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nina, for sharing with us your experience, your interesting experience, and thanks a lot also for stressing the fact that the Baltic Central Program played a very key role in terms of promoting your project idea. Let's skip to the other panelist. Panos, you have the floor. Please share with us some inputs about the implementation of the Civitas destination.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Ladies and gentlemen, I stood here in front of you last July of 2018 in the General Assembly of the Islands Commission in Bastia, in Corsica. And I gave a pretty detailed account of the project, the details. We had a workshop session, and I spoke about all aspects of the project that is promoting sustainable mobility in 6 touristic destinations here. These are 6 islands that belong to 6 CPMR sessions. Sorry, seems to be that I'm losing my voice. And we, together with 2 other projects, Eccentric and Portis, are promoting sustainable mobility in cities ranging from Madrid, Stockholm, Aberdeen, Trieste. You see in the right-hand corner the 6 islands that take part in our project. I will be very quick in terms of repeating only a couple of the highlights for the project. The project is part of the Civitas family of projects promoting sustainable mobility in European cities and regions. And our particular initiative here is to help CPMR regions learn more about innovative transport solutions and also participate in workshops where we can share a lot of the information that we are developing. The project has 28 partners, 12 European countries, and we also have a Chinese connection through a cross-fertilization program with Beijing and Shenzhen. In fact, the bus company of Shenzhen that has only 12,500 electric buses in service at the moment is coming to Europe and is coming to visit our sites and see what we are doing and learn from us. We have a budget of almost 20 million euros to finance measures ranging from hardware, electric buses, hybrid buses, to softer measures such as safe safe routes to schools, and promoting walking, biking, and electromobility. In other words, our main objective is when the tourist lands in one of these destinations, they don't just rent a car and drive away, but they explore other more sustainable modes of transport and mobility that can help reduce energy consumption and pollution in these islands and in many other touristic destinations in Europe. 2 words about the significance of tourism in the economy. 10% of GDP of world GDP and European GDP is linked to tourism. 1 in 11 jobs is linked to tourism. 7% of world's exports are related to tourism, and 30% of services. So it is a very, very significant sector, cannot be ignored. So these are numbers of the World Tourism Organization, and these are numbers that show the significance of the tourism sector. Now, in our work, replication is one of the cornerstones of the project. So I want to leave you with a message today that as part of our work, we have developed and we have in operation a platform of followers. And I know some of you in this room, including our colleagues from Bornholm and others, have already registered on the platform and have seen samples of the work we do. We present the results, and we have also the possibility within the platform to have a live chat room if you have any questions regarding the replication of some of the more than 78 measures that we are developing during the life of the project. In parallel, a small budget of about 30,000 euros has been dedicated for the replication of these 10 best practice examples that are there for you. If you wish, you can really apply through the platform in an electronic form, and we will be able to send you the application. The deadline for the application to receive the funding for replicating some of these actions is the 29th of March, is the end of next week. So if you feel that it is for you beneficial to apply and get funding for one of these actions, please do so by contacting us in the email addresses that we have at the end of this. In parallel to all of this activity, the project has also made a significant political commitment. The 7 participating cities from 6 CPMR regions, 5 of which are IC members, they have established a political steering committee that includes all 7 mayors. And these 7 mayors, they have made a commitment to promote and contribute to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals and to the EU's Sustainable Mobility and Green Tourism objectives. So, as you know, it is easier to develop plans, but without the political support of the local and the regional authorities, it is not easy to implement them. So, involving politicians from day one, it is really very beneficial because we have these local politicians promoting our work, supporting our work, and working actively with us to make it happen. In that direction, a political statement that you have in your working papers has been developed and will be signed in Elba, Tuscany, on the 10th of April next month. And this is a political engagement of these politicians to carry and support actions of sustainable mobility in these tourist destinations. I welcome the initiative of the Secretariat that has added this morning a statement inviting the CPMR regions to actively support and, if possible, to co-sign this political statement that will strengthen the voice of the politicians and have their voice heard in Brussels, because what we want to do is we really want to have this statement really supported and promoted with the Brussels establishments. So this is the political statement. It has 6 main objectives. I will let you read it, but the most important thing is that these politicians, they want to become political frontrunners in order to foster local and regional economic growth and development through sustainable mobility and green tourism. I, again, would like to thank you very much, and I repeat the request that it would be beneficial for our political initiative to have CPMR regions support and endorse. You have my coordinates, you have the website, and you have the platform details for the application for replication. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Panos. Again, for your presentation that was very clear, and for your kind invitation to join the platform and to benefit of your tools. So let's move to the next speaker, Professor Stephanedes, University of Patras. So you have the floor. 7 minutes, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to talk about sustainable underwater tourism. If I learn, okay, I think it works. The central idea in this project that I will briefly describe to you is that we are bringing in innovation in order to develop a transformation. So through these actions, we expect that the innovative services that we provide will transform the sites that accept this scheme, so that in the end the tourism industry becomes a sustainable and smart industry. So what are the objectives of BLUEMED project? Briefly, to plan, test, coordinate innovative underwater museums and diving parks in order to support responsible coastal and maritime tourism. And we expect that we will create transformation that will get us to sustainable tourism and then to smart tourism. So what is this transformation? BLUEMED pilot tests implementation of underwater museums and knowledge awareness centers that are supported by augmented diving technologies, so that increases their attractiveness. What are these knowledge awareness centers? They are innovative exhibition and information centers where you can find different types of advanced digital technologies, the ones with which you are most familiar with, the ones that you have, which allows the merging of what we expect from a traditional museum practice and dissemination with the new technology, and therefore we produce a more understandable and enjoyable experience, and we encourage the interaction and engagement of the visitors. In order to develop these, we of course based ourselves in the opinions of users, so we find that most important for these visitors would be, of course, a basis of trust. People are interested in environment, cost and time, they want to be safe, but information is what is most important to them. So here's an example of what such a center looks like. You can see some visitors and an example of a visualization system here. Where are these? Primarily, we have these located in Greece and Italy. And that was too fast. Okay, here is an example from Capo Rizzuto. Here is, okay, an example from Baia. And just a little bit. Okay, here's one from Croatia. Okay, and here's one from Alonissos in Greece. All these photos are taken during the operation of the project, in which we have a cooperation of a number of specialization. So we have opportunity to, for the first time, get and touch and treat what is there, but also at the same time the tourists can visit or not visit, because they can visit the 3D center. We expect that the target area for us is the whole Med area, so we think that this opportunity will enhance all the coastal regions, and you can think about your own region, the islands, where you can use the innovation that this idea brings in, so that we can improve the value of tourism. We expect that this can have a substantial impact on your island. Also in the macro region here, the whole Med area, it boosts the sustainable tourism. It provides positive economic impact, and at the same time allows the specialists to protect the natural and cultural heritage. Of course, all of this is being tracked and measured by appropriate KPIs. So these KPIs are focused, in our opinion, in how we manage the destination, something that has been already discussed here, and what is the impact on the culture of the area. Does it bring an economic value, and is it friendly to the environment? Oh. Okay. All right, so we developed these indicators. You can think about these, and if you like, later on, if you have indicators that we expect are part of the success. So number one, we would like the people to be engaged from day one, something that was mentioned here area as well. Then we can determine whether the system is sustainable, and finally, if it is sustainable, then can it go one step further and be intelligent? And does it bring benefits to the quadruple helix? So does it bring benefits to the public sector, the private sector, the academia, and the people who are all working together for this opportunity? Therefore, we think that the roadmap to development is through these three steps: engage from the beginning, sustainability to be reached, and then do we use sustainability in order to take the extra step to intelligence. And if I can, I don't know what this really. No, okay, thank you. Okay, sorry. Right. I think more or less the end. So we expect that we're going to have an impact through innovation, through sustainability, through the cooperation of the different actors working together, and we expect that we can capitalize on these ideas. Finally, we can just mention that it was mentioned before also that together with CPMR we have submitted a proposal to look after the policy uptake of this idea. So thank you very much. Here you can also see a link. If you are interested, you can, it's just a 2-minute video. If you are interested, you can see this link, and the video gives you a description of applications. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Professor Stephanedes. Now we move to the last speaker, Mr. Drakopoulos. So you have the floor. 7 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to give me to share with you some views on tourism and sustainability with a bit of flavor of the Ionian Islands. I would suggest at the beginning to agree on a definition of what is sustainability in tourism. And in this case, I will propose UNWTO, United Nations World Tourism Organization definition, where the economic, social, and environmental impacts have to be matched with visitors, the industry, environment, and host communities. The Sustainable Development Goals have a clear priority for the sustainability in cities, communities, any other area of tourist interest. And the challenge for policymakers is to match demand and supply to be beneficial for the people, at the same time respecting the environment. It's not an easy task, but it's not an impossible one. Last year we have done a very interesting exercise in the region of Ionian Alliance. Between 2008 and 2017, we had almost 1 million arrivals more. However, more or less the seasonality pattern was the same, while we have a significant improvement in September, in October. It's a bit of improvement, but it's far away from the goal. The seasonality is a huge problem, and it will be for many, many reasons. There have been some other indicators of progress. We managed to reduce the independence from our top market, which was UK, and we have done the same with our top 5 markets. And we have put the goals for 2021, where we need, the goals have been identified for each island on a separate basis. And we need our top market to be more or less than 30% if possible, and the top 5 market to be 70, 60, 80, whatever. It's a difficult exercise, but with a bit of consistency, it is achievable. Another aspect of operational success was to manage the demand between countries from the Eurozone and countries outside the Eurozone in order to absorb the currency fluctuations on how to impact the demand. And we finalize our priorities, not exclusivities, priorities in terms of source market, UK and Poland, Netherlands and Germany. And we've done the exercise, which products shall we offer, taking under consideration demand and profitability, competition and conditions, which give us attractiveness in terms of investment and competitiveness in terms of marketing. And the result was hiking, diving, biking and gastronomy. You see that all these products have a common characteristic. They are easy to be prepared, they require low investment and have a relatively high return. And they are environmentally friendly beyond their healthy activities. So, having all this in consideration, of course, we have in mind how to solve the problem of carrying capacity. Ionian Islands, as most of the islands of CPMR, are already mature destinations. They cannot start planning from scratch. So you have to intervene at given levels, which will create a lot of reactions because there are local interests or misconceptions. Carrying capacity has a lot of tools around. One of them has been developed 3 years ago and is developing year by year, the European Tourism Indicator System, which I'm afraid a very limited number of destinations use it. And it seems that the biggest problem now, it is over-tourism. Over-tourism mostly for the island destinations, for the sun and sea destinations, the summer destinations, is because of seasonality. I'm dealing with seasonality the last 30 years. I bet there is no way to solve this problem unless we start changing our mindset and the policies. The solution is not to kick tourists away, as some people suggest, but it's talk to the Commission and the Parliament. 60% of the residents of the European countries, the citizens of the European countries, are obliged to take the biggest part of their holidays July and August. Unless you solve this, you will never solve seasonality. You will start fighting with offering lower rates and give lower this and lower that. No way out. People are obliged to have their holidays July and August. You cannot avoid that. And if you keep promoting the same products, again, there is no solution. So change of the mindset. And mostly change your mindset because the climate change is here and it will affect a lot our destinations. I will reveal you later which is destination, which in this period we have many, many days with average temperature, day temperature over 40 degrees, which does make really attractive the destination. And the problem now is existential, unless we act now. Of course, this is beyond our little forces. It has to go to governments, business and communities, and here are the governments who have to take the leadership and initiative. However, governments have to become far more flexible. In the Greek case, every law introduced by the Ministry of Tourism requires at least 7 other ministries to co-sign, which means a lot of time, lots of energy, less functionality. And central governments have to work with regional governments, municipalities, with businesses and local stakeholders. In order to achieve this, they need extra vitamin C. This is suggested by World Tourism Organization, and it means extra cooperation, collaboration, and coordination. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Mr. Dracopoulos, for your interesting intervention. So you have the floor. Do you have any burning question for our panels? Don't be shy. I know that you are tired, but you could do it. No questions? Ready? Okay. So now we have our lunch. Thanks again to our signing our memorandum of understanding with OTIE, and we will see you in the restaurant for the lunch. Thanks again.